hope that everybody enjoys my homosexual pride hat.
Oh god, he just killed me. Welcome back, everyone, to a special edition of the Downward Diary. I am coming to you today, as this is being filmed, on...
It's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve, but it is what I believe is the 4-year anniversary of the day that my childhood was officially destroyed forever when I was physically raped by J.J. Abrams. No. I'm talking, of course, about the Rise of Skywalker, a movie that I've gone on the record in saying multiple times is my most hated movie ever made and will likely hold that crown until the day I die. And it has been 4 years, 4 long years since that miserable day. Actually, in the location this is being filmed, not far from here, the Tinseltown in Jacksonville, Florida. I walked into some godforsaken theater in Jacksonville to witness the defining franchise of my childhood meet its bitter and unforgivable end. That was the day it all ended. My reverence, my lifelong childlike reverence for Star Wars, flushed down the toilet, thrown in the trash. Things haven't been the same since. It's one of the most defining, formative experiences of my life. It made me look at media. It made me look at everything completely differently. Because if Star Wars could be destroyed that badly, who knows if any other form of media could be sacred? Who knows if any form of media could eventually be made totally worthless and just not worth engaging with at all. But I've come to learn that when it comes to media, movies, TV, video games, music, we can define our own value. Sorry for the existential beginning. I'm here with Brian, the editor, who's working on lots of Emp Lemon and Downward Diary projects lately. This is a Green Letter Media presentation.
Am I green too?
Probably not. This is Half in the Spiral. Now, we're recording this before watching the movie. After 4 years, I'm finally deciding to give it a rewatch. And I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for the fact that Brian here, who's also a Star Wars fan, has not seen the movie yet.
See, I did the proper thing. When I went into the theater, I watched the first 5 minutes, I watched them hyperspace jump between like 4 different planets, realized that's bullshit, and then I left.
So he's seen the first 5 minutes. He has not seen the part of the film that... Oof. Well, that remains to be seen.
And you have not seen the money returned to your bank account because you didn't get a refund.
Well, I'm hoping to recoup it by making even more Star Wars complaint videos. Try to get that ad revenue back. Brian here is arguably even bigger of a Star Wars fan than I would. Well, it's honestly inarguable. I look around the room, I see Star Wars stuff everywhere.
I got Star Wars comic books. I have probably the largest Star Wars t-shirt collection. It was the largest in 2010. I have to check again. I gotta see if Rancho Obi-Wan has finally hoarded enough shit to finally overcome my record, but I've got hundreds of Star Wars t-shirts, I've got tons of plushies, I've got tons of stuff that I've collected. I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, but, you know, you can't say that owning stuff necessarily makes somebody a bigger fan, because otherwise, anybody who's got the Lego Death Star with the 24 minifigures would be in that category. And yes, I do have that.
Well, folks in the Star Wars community, you may know him as Star Wars t-shirt kid from Star Wars Celebration. I guess that went a bit viral in the Star Wars community.
It wasn't that viral, but go find the podcast. I know that when I was at the conventions, people were like, hey, look, it's the Star Wars shirt kid. So I was on at least 2 podcasts at that time. They had these podcast booths, and people invited me over. There were people who recognized me because they saw me in little clips, because there was like this contest thing at the time where they were like, how are you celebrating Star Wars Celebration 6? And I had this like time-lapse thing that I did where I wore all of the different Star Wars shirts. Oh my god, I was so cringy. I don't even like thinking about it.
Well, you know, Brian, Star Wars didn't have to become cringe, but sadly, that is the reality we now inhabit. A reality that you, for the time being, have managed to avoid, but it ends today. I'm gonna warn you, this is your last chance to back out. Honestly, I don't blame him. I don't blame him, folks. I don't blame him. He's driving away. He's driving away. Might have to do this review solo. This movie is a Star Wars fan destroyer. I'm sure there's plenty of other fandoms out there. There's plenty of other people who kind of witnessed media they enjoyed consuming. They saw it crash and burn. Sometimes you gotta take old Yeller behind the shed. I had it happen 4 years ago. Many Star Wars fans had it happen 4 years ago. Today is Brian's day of reckoning. Maybe it doesn't destroy his love of the franchise. Maybe he'll come out of it still liking Star Wars, but all I know is that for myself and a lot of other former Star Wars fans, this was the complete point of irredeemability. The fact that this thing exists, it is now unjustifiable to me to revere this franchise in any way. A huge part of myself and my childhood and something I really enjoyed engaging with was ruined. I guess it's time to relive the experience.
I'm scared. That's all I got. Also, at some point in time, if something's really bad, I'm gonna pretend to kill myself with this.
You're gonna be doing that 40 or 50 times. We got it pulled up here on Disney Plus. Our money's going directly into Kathleen Kennedy's bank account as we speak.
Don't worry, I'm gonna steal it back when I kill her. Oh, it's the Lucasfilm logo. That's how you know things are going to be good.
Ah yes, the opening text, which once was a source of giddy excitement, has now become a bad omen. A sign of horrible things to come.
Oh, come on, it can't be that bad.
Well, just wait for the opening exposition right here.
Rise of Skywalker, and not his junk.
So going into this, Luke Skywalker just died.
Yeah, so wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense, because Rey's not a Skywalker anyway, is she? The galaxy has heard a mysterious broadcast, a threat of revenge in the sinister voice of Emperor Palpatine.
They're just gonna come out, rip the Band-Aid off immediately. Emperor Palpatine is back, folks. It's not even gonna be a surprise. They revealed it in the opening crawl. Well, in fact, everyone knew it going into the movie because he was in the trailers, but they couldn't think of a satisfying villain.
Wait a minute, it says the Phantom Emperor. Is he the real Phantom Menace?
Emperor Palpatine is back. Any reason why? No. He's just here, and we're just gonna get it out of the way. They're telling us he's here in the exposition dump. You know what, maybe that's better. Maybe that's better than if they just made it a surprise.
Is there ever an answer as to who these guys are?
Did I mention that Emperor Palpatine is back?
Did I mention that Emperor Lemon is back? Oh, come on. Nobody is that good of a pilot. TIE fighters don't have drift like that. Got the giant threatening space triangle.
Why is the planet evil? This planet is like designed to be evil. There's like lightning underground.
And lost.
What is this?
Why does he need his lightsaber on? If he's just going to talk to the Emperor or whatever, why?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it looks cool, but
I made smoke.
dude.
Oh yeah, let's get the strobe lights for this.
Dude, that was funny. They cut to a slightly closer shot of his face. Like some kind of B movie.
What is this, a fucking horror movie?
Here's something you were talking about, where to get the release in China, they can't show him as a ghost. I guess it's like a Force ghost, which is what's been established.
Wait, hold on.
Oh yeah, he's physically resurrecting a fleet of 10,000 Star Destroyers, each with its own Death Star laser, out of the core of the planet.
Wait a minute.
The might of the final order will soon be ready.
What? They only... Wait, no, hold on. I have to pause this fucking thing. Wait a fucking minute. The only planet this could possibly be is Kuat. Because that's the only planet in which that many Star Destroyers would be within that proximity of each other. Do you know what Kuat is?
No.
Kuat is the Star
Kuwait?
It's the Star Destroyer production planet. It's where they manufacture all of the large-scale ships. It's also where they manufactured parts for the Death Star. There were no mass crashes, and if there were, they would not be assembled that well. So, assuming that this is Kuat...
No, this is its own planet, Brian. It's Exegol, and it's apparently an evil planet, and I guess there's like no workforce or like anything to be seen, but the Emperor has been hiding here the whole time since the events of Return of the Jedi, and he's assembled a fleet of 10,000 Star Destroyers, each of which has its own Death Star laser cannon attached.
Oh, don't you know that if you put your Star Destroyer in the ground, it duplicates like plants?
Well, you see, they made the model once, and then they copy and pasted it like 10,000 times.
Using the Force?
In a nice array, yeah. And Palpatine's black, Palpatine's back, and the planet's
He's black?
evil.
Even more inclusivity, Palpatine is black?
We're like 2 minutes in, and this movie already doesn't make any sense. It's kind of comically ostentatious and just like how bold it's being with the complete retardation of the plot. So Palpatine, I guess, cloned himself, which I guess makes sense because he was in charge of the Clone Wars. But if he's a clone, why is he the old decrepit version of himself? Wouldn't he be the version of himself in the prequel trilogy before his face got burned from Mace Windu deflecting the Force lightning and burning off his face? Why is he like the evil Palpatine if he's a clone? Oh, it's because it's recognizable, because that's what people know Palpatine as, because they couldn't come up with an actual original villain.
Or you know what? There could be another option. It could be that when he decided to go in for his cloning salon appointment, I have an appointment on Camino. Oh, geez, okay, I have to take over the Senate. All right, I'm gonna delay this appointment. He decided to put it off. Well, actually, you have to remember, his brain is still the same brain from the end of episode 6. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw some gag video where someone said like, he's just on an asteroid somewhere, and he's like astrally projecting all of this shit.
I miss the simplicity in the series when someone died, they're actually dead, you know? I mean, people can just clone themselves to bring them back. Why wouldn't all the Jedi have, like, backup clones of themselves? Like in Rick and Morty, when Rick dies, he just has a clone, so it's like no one can actually die. You can show people being killed, but it doesn't mean anything. If we pause to make comments...
Yeah, you're right.
This is going to take 10 hours. This is already just, like, absurd. Nothing in Star Wars has ever been this absurd up until this point. Like, he literally just summoned 10,000 Star Destroyers out of, like, the planet's crust. This was not foreshadowed at all in any way. You're starting off your film, your capstone to the trilogy, which is usually supposed to make you the most money and be like the best part of the trilogy, with something so ridiculous and bombastic that it already makes the whole thing look like a joke.
Oh, do you remember this? Oh, this is so cool. It's a callback.
Didn't everyone just die in the previous movie? Why aren't they more somber?
It was like a week later. They got over it.
I hope you fixed that surge.
Who's that? I don't remember him. I don't know what.
I don't think he appears at any other time in the movie. I've got to have R2-D2 there for some reason.
Wait, where are they? I don't even know what they're doing right now.
Julio, good to see you.
Bulio?
From a new ally, a spy in the First Order. You're supposed to be getting rid of those things.
Hey, Finn, you're supposed to be shooting at those guys. No! Oh my god, it's so much worse than I thought it was. Oh my god.
Oh wait, did they use hyperspace
Yes!
to do a solid...
They're hyperspace jumping from one planet to another. That's not possible. You need the Navicomputer to calculate where you are first. And on top of that, if you travel at the speed of light around any fucking planet within 10,000 kilometers, you are going to plummet into the planet's surface at the speed of fucking light. And they bounce to like 4 fucking planets. What is this, the 4th?
Hey, but it looks cool.
5! Fucking 5! Look, they destroyed the big alien. Oh my god, Jesus fucking Christ.
You could like turn that into like a cool ride, like they have the Minions ride at Universal.
Yeah, for a ride, that's fine. Even on the ride, they don't fucking do that. I went on Star Tours.
Look, it's the Avatar.
Be with me.
Be with me.
Be with me.
Be with me. Okay, ruin it with a corny line.
They're not with me.
They're not with me!
Oh,
so clever.
This is the point that this is like new territory for you. Like you walked out.
Yeah, I
by
walked
this
out,
point.
so I haven't seen this shit.
Millennial writing, where there's potentially dramatic scene that can set an emotional tone, but you don't have faith in your own product, so you gotta cut it off with some snarky thing that will get a cheap pop out of the audience. And it just makes the overall product crap, because like you can tell like you, the writers, don't even have faith in the product.
Her lightsaber was just on, and then it turned off, and then now it's on again?
I'm sure that they had a good reason for that change.
That's apprentice training right there. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
They had her wearing the helmet, like Luke did that in fucking episode 4.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is a boring scene because we already know she has like immense force abilities, aka plot convenience.
Yeah.
Because the writers write themselves into a corner. So let's just say, and this is like concurrent throughout the whole new trilogy. They write themselves in a corner, and then they have Rey come up with like some extreme adaptation of the Force that's never even been seen before in any of the other movies. But she's also like an amateur who's still training.
Yeah, she lifted up the equivalent of like 10 X-Wings of rocks. And now she can't even defeat one training module? Are you kidding me?
The conversation about like the Mary Sue stuff, that's all tired and played out, but it comes from a reasonable observation people have where the progression of Rey's skill is just inconsistent throughout this trilogy.
Why did she just destroy the training module? Isn't that a total waste?
I guess they have unlimited resources, even though they're resistance and they just nearly all got wiped out in the last movie. But it doesn't matter, because, as we'll see, we have more friends in the galaxy that can help join us and fight.
Oh no,
So
baby 8 got crushed.
the entire conflict of the last movie is just pointless. Having a trilogy with like 2.5 different directors, not going to create a cohesive product.
I will earn your brother's saber.
That's not her hand, is it?
I'm sure it's a body double and they deepfake her face.
Or
Now-
they just used footage that they already had that was like cut.
Now, if it is a deepfake, the technology has come a long way since the Grand Moff Tarkin deepfake.
That was not
from-
actually a deep fake. That was a CGI model.
Oh, it was CG? It's hard to tell at this point.
Yes, master.
She just called Leia Master.
Wait, so Leia's a Jedi Master?
According to this, because she used the Force in space once to save her ass.
In one of the worst scenes in cinematic history?
You light speed skipped?
You light speed skipped? They just called it.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Somehow,
There it
Palpatine
is.
returned.
This millennial writing that's infesting new films, you can get away with it in Marvel because they're on Earth still and they're like humans, but this is supposed to be a fantastical universe. It just takes you out of it. It reminds you you're watching actors to hear them say stuff like this, all these little stupid writing conventions. It's just dumb. If you watch the old Star Wars, they don't do that. It helps make the dialogue more convincing and less distracting.
No, I completely agree with you. Like, there's just so much awful dialogue. I'm trying to also, like, pay attention to it, but it's like, I feel like I'd be criticizing every line.
By this point in the trilogy, the characters are not strong. They have not been set up in a way where they have strong arcs and their motivations are clearly defined, and you care about what they're doing. So that causes the dialogue to be boring. Overall, the entire arc plot structure of the story, get ready for 20 more minutes of convoluted expedition dump that kind of but doesn't really make sense, and have the gears spin your head trying to justify like why any of this is actually happening.
In the previous scene, did you see that she was opening one of the old Jedi texts? One of the ones that they were supposed to burn in the last movie?
A pile of old books. Sacred Jedi texts.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
I guess they got it from somewhere else.
Burn all the books we must.
They checked one of them out.
Rose, last chance.
Oh, Rose Tika, who's barely in this movie because the perception against her was so poor in the last one. Also because China doesn't want to see interracial relationship between a Chinese woman and a black man.
Actually, I don't think she was Chinese. I think she was Vietnamese. And they knew that, and that's part of why they didn't like it, because it was marketed as if she was Chinese.
They set her up to be such a huge part of the last movie, she's barely in this movie. Spoiler, by the way.
Yeah.
As if anyone cares.
What was the point of handing off the lightsaber and handing it back? Because you needed to use up the footage that you still had of this dead actress?
So you can get a shot for the trailer.
Okay, this has got to be a deepfake right here. They definitely didn't have a clip of them hugging.
Are you one of those single-tier people?
I mean, this is a supposedly emotional scene, and like...
Yeah, I was about to say that.
These characters are not well written, so it
nobody
doesn't
cares.
feel like anything.
It doesn't. No, I don't think
It's like,
anybody
oh yeah,
would watch that.
Ray and Leia's relationship was so strong before that scene that it really matters.
What are they, putting his mask back together? Just make him a new one.
You know, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, no, we got Monkey Boy up in here. Monkey Jones cameo in Star Wars? Okay.
This movie makes me want to go ape.
It's a monkey elf. I kind of like the cyber monkey. That's the only thing I've liked about this movie so far. And I'm not even a big monkey guy.
Yeah, honestly,
He's got the bright red Gorilla Glue holding together his mask.
I guess it's supposed to look like that.
Did he just slap that guy's head down on the table? You know, somebody has to clean that, right, dude? Could have just said that you killed him.
Kind of gross and unsanitary.
What, does he want to intimidate them? Dude, he literally has the Force.
For what it's worth, it's in character because he's like unprofessional about like goes about his leadership. How is the First Order not won already?
Prepare to crush any worlds that defy us.
Was there a motivated reason why he did that?
I wasn't able to tell because the dialogue was not engaging me.
Because obviously that's supposed to be an homage to Vader choking the guy for making fun of his force powers in A New Hope. But that was like a motivated character scene. He just did that for no reason. Because it's supposed to remind you of the old movie.
What is this?
Oh god, they're in Israel.
This festival is known for both its colorful kites and its delectable sweets.
See, like, why do they have to do that? Like, what is wrong with what he said? He's explaining where they are in a place that they don't know.
Yeah,
they're looking at him like he's some kind of retard.
Like, shut up, white boy.
That character beat will become more insulting later on, as you'll see.
Don't tell me that they raped my boy C-3PO. See, in this culture, instead of giving them a circumcision, they cut off the tip of their nose.
I'm sure there's some Wikipedia article about that, 6 pages long.
Wait, they do! Look at their noses are stubbed.
No, there's no way that can be.
I'm gaslighting you. Are you telling me that they're not racist? Weren't the majority of aliens in the original trilogy all just racist?
Yeah, these guys look like, whoever the guy is Anakin gets in the pod racer for. The Jewish merchant.
Oh, you're talking about Watto.
Oh yeah, Watto. These guys look like Watto.
He's standing here, like, showing off his Lego model that he just built.
Showing off his giant COVID vaccine.
I see through the cracks in your mask. You're haunted.
There's literal cracks in his mask. Did they make that design choice just because of that line in the script?
What?
Well, they established they can physically transport projects through the stellar medium using their dyad powers in The Last Jedi. Again, you can't think of a more elegant way for them to find out where they are. You have to have the character physically take an object through, like, space and time.
How did they get there that fast?
I guess that was a soldier on outpost.
Okay, maybe. Why couldn't he just use the Force to find out where they were? Because if you were able to communicate with her, what is there, like some weird wireless signal that connects them from anywhere?
And why can't they use the Force to tell where Palpatine is?
Wookiees stand out in the crowd.
Another guy from the old movies.
He's here. He's just here. Great, I believe that.
Oh yeah, he's randomly at this cultural festival. People in the audience who've studied this more, was there any setup or like diegetic reason for Lando to be here?
Did they like walk in there because they knew he was going to be in there, or what? Did he invite them in? I didn't.
Like, was there some line you missed? Is like, there, an old friend of mine will be waiting, or something like that? No, he's just there for no reason, for convenience. The thing you're going to start to realize about this plot is that it's completely jacked up and frenetic with the pacing, where to disguise the fact that they don't have an actual satisfying story with arcs and any sort of character development or just a satisfying problem solving, they just throw a bunch of different sequences over and over and over and over, rapid fire, machine gun style, and they hope that just like the visual noise is enough to entertain you and make you forget about the fact that none of the events that are happening have any logical bearing on anything.
The giant floating triangle.
How do you know how to do that?
Wouldn't Finn know that Poe is somewhat skilled at this by now?
In the 7th movie, the two of them literally hacked into a TIE fighter together.
Use the toggle on the left to switch between missiles, cannons, and mag pulse. Use the sight on the right to aim, triggers to fire.
This is very complicated.
Did the writers of this movie even watch the old movies?
They fly now?
More millennial writing. You could just let the scene play out normally and just have it be like, oh, that's cool. But you have to vocally confirm it because I guess the audience is too stupid to comprehend what they're seeing with their eyes. One bullet from that was enough to explode the whole thing. Doesn't that seem like a pretty big design flaw on your futuristic space equipment where a simple grappling hook could cause the whole thing to be completely destroyed?
There's plenty of things that I could criticize in that scene, but I'm willing to give that credence because there are things that we use in the modern day that could be destroyed by a simple grappling hook.
Yeah, but Brian, this is supposed to be the Type 3 Kardashev civilization with the power of destroying an entire planet.
Yeah, but I mean, we have the...
They're being thwarted by grappling hook.
Oh, but come on, we got the tech to destroy an entire planet, but we could be thwarted by a grappling hook. How big of a fucking explosion! Oh, that looks bad. That looks...
Brian, are you getting a sinking feeling that maybe Star Wars might be doomed?
What are you talking about?
Oh great, they're dead. They're just gonna suffocate to death.
I hate the CG in this shot right here.
Yeah, that looked pretty jank.
So wait, hold on.
Okay.
Why is this not full of that quicksand shit? Is the quicksand shit just magical that it only lets...
No, okay, Brian, don't ask questions. We're on to the next scene. It doesn't matter. They're in a giant pool of quicksand. Now they're in an empty, dry cave. And for some reason, the quicksand is not flowing and inundating this empty, cavernous space which is under it. We're on to the next scene. It doesn't matter.
You're
There's
right.
a potentially dangerous and threatening scene for the protagonist, and now it just doesn't matter. They're back to normal.
And she just turns on the lightsaber. Oh, what a funny gag. She turns on the lightsaber and he turns on his flashlight.
That's something that I feel like it almost worked. I mean, like, a lightsaber is, like, kind of a hazardous thing to have out, so it seems kind of dumb of Rey to do that, just using the lightsaber as a light source, when both of them clearly have flashlights that they prepared to bring. Whatever, just don't think about anything.
Ben's
Nothing
right
is supposed
there?
to make any sense.
What's that? Is that a speeder?
An old one.
This was Ochi's?
It's Hitler's Mercedes-Benz right there.
Yeah, Hitler's a Sith, just so you know the Sith are bad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't like bones.
What, is this Ghostbusters? Bro, is this Scooby-Doo? What is that line, man?
Wait a minute, I thought C-3PO's arm was red. Since episode 7, he had the red arm.
So you're telling us the one time we need you to talk, you can't?
I am mechanically incapable of speaking translations from Sith.
Another contrived plot thing that could have easily been cut out, but they have to move the plot along to different things to give the impression that the story is actually evolving.
What, is she gonna pull an avatar and touch hairs with this thing and the two of them are just gonna get along?
Oh my god. Are you sure you haven't seen this before?
No! No! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up.
Are you ready for some more Rey power scaling?
I'm fucking mad. Just because I already know it's gonna happen now because you said that. You understand me if we touch each other. It's just fucking
No.
How to Train Your Dragon.
It's a bit further than that.
Oh.
You know, that would have been convenient for all those people who died in, like, the last movie. But it's a good thing she just now figured out how to use it on this random snake creature. We've only just begun, Brian. We've only just begun.
How far are we into this movie?
An hour and 48 minutes left.
Oh my god. What was the point of that?
She has a new power. Despite struggling to kill a training module, she can now physically heal the wounded. Damn, you know, Anakin must be pissed that this is a thing. I mean, you can just heal flesh. He could have just gone back to normal. You mean Emperor Palpatine couldn't figure out how to do this? Oh, I guess the Sith are evil, so they don't have healing powers.
For us at the Falcon. Yeah, they'll throw us in the pits of Grick.
Grick? The pits of Grick? What a dumb name.
I'm sure there's a 17-page Wikipedia article about their adventure in the pits of Grick. Oh, another great scene is coming, by the way. I hope you're ready.
Let's get those converters fired up.
Gotta get rid of all those space spider webs that are only in strategic places where the camera is gonna move through so that they can use it to, like...
How else is the audience supposed to know that it's old and dilapidated? You didn't see them.
Well, no, of course he could. Not in that giant fucking suit. You know what's funny? When I met Peter Mayhew and Kenny Baker, they were both sitting next to each other. They would be around each other because he's like the shortest because he used to fit inside of the little R2-D2 machine because he's tiny. And then he's, of course, like 7 feet tall. Seeing them right next to each other was like this wacky thing.
Chewie, what happened? Wait, why did he go off wandering on his own again? Was there a reason given for that?
To go get Rey, apparently. I'm trying to read the dialogue here, but it's also not very engaging.
And he conveniently had the Sith dagger.
I've seen this from the trailer. She does some fucking stupid backflip.
Again, tactically none of this really makes any sense. He's gonna like run her over like this is GTA. Like, don't you have lasers? Blast her. What are you doing?
What, are you above that because you're a Sith?
Okay, she's clearly got something planned. You still shoot her. Kylo, what are you doing? What did you think was gonna happen?
He's just dead. That's the end.
got Chewie! They got him!
Here comes a top 10 great scene in the movie.
No, they don't. They don't got Chewie. Oh, is she gonna shit her pants and then they're gonna get away?
Nope, even better.
Is she gonna slam it into him?
Imagine the most stupid thing you can possibly think of. It's gonna happen.
She's gonna slam it into him. She's gonna slam the ship that has her friend. No!
It gets better. It gets better.
I half expect Finn to join in.
That would have been good, but it's something else. It's something else.
What is she shit her pants? Oh my god! Oh my god! Did she kill Chewie? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Why is everyone just standing around in isolated places? They could all just be killed.
Bro, she just fucking killed Chewie!
Oh, once again, everyone's attacking one at a time. They were all just standing around for like 2 minutes, and they could have all been killed. But Kylo decides to go in without his massive entourage of TIE fighter pilots.
So Chewie's just fucking dead?
Do you think he's dead?
No, I don't!
But clearly, they just acted like he was dead.
They're gonna do something later, he comes back, they're gonna be like, Chewie!
Oh, is she gonna find the burnt corpse of Chewie and just heal him back to life?
That power came from me. Finn never thinks you don't know.
Then tell me.
They can't kiss, because apparently he and Poe are gay, right?
I thought he was in love with Rose Tika in the last movie. Or did that just get retconned for China?
I don't remember, but people were saying that him and Poe are gay now or something. You know what she looked like there? Like a meth head who was at a meth. She had like that...
It brought back a valuable prisoner.
Prisoner?
Is that Tom Hanks?
Guess what? He was on the other ship! Oh my god. Talk about having your cake and eating it too.
Oh my god.
He's alive! Oh, we couldn't have a character impactfully die or have you believe a character was dead for 5 minutes.
Shoot to the Wayfinder thing and it's gone.
So true. The inscription lives only in my memory now.
They all like turn towards him.
But the translation from a forbidden language cannot be retrieved. That is short of a complete redactive memory bypass.
Let's do that.
See, like, this is just dumb stalling for time. Now they have to go to a whole nother planet, a whole nother set piece, just so that they can read the stupid code that we've just had access to for the last 25 minutes.
Is this where this droid gets introduced? Is this how, like, robots breed? They just, like, stick their penises in things?
What is the point of this? Do we need another cute droid to sell toys for?
They should have brought Bernie from the WALL-E franchise into this.
Well, yeah, they're in the same universe now. Every Disney property is in the same universe. Pixar theory, how we can fit it into Star Wars.
You're the one they're looking for. Bounty for her just might cover us.
Dude, you have a blaster, just blow her head off.
Not that you care, but I think you're okay. I care.
And just like that, the conflict is resolved.
You'd think that at that point she would pull the trigger as soon as the lightsaber was off. Like, that would be the smart thing. Because she's supposed to be like some hardcore spice runner.
Cold bounty hunter only cares about my profits. But now I'm helping the heroes.
Oh, she kicked my associates in the dick? Okay, I like you now. Was that monster's eyes nipples?
There's a lot of special designs in there.
They're giving him a lobotomy.
Translated from Sith? That's it.
Yeah, that's what we need.
When has a Sith ever spoken Sith?
When has a non-Sith ever spoken Sith?
If this mission fails, it was all for nothing.
He's talking about the franchise.
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
See, like, are they your friends? They were clowning him the entire time. You're talking about how, like, useless he was the whole time. But you're supposed to have an emotionally poignant scene.
What, so they're gonna have him commit space suicide? Robot suicide?
General Pride.
Is his name General Pride?
What, as in, like, white pride or something?
No, Pride as in, like, gay pride.
Oh, another gay character? Another day in Israel.
Free passage through any blockade. Landing privileges, any vessel.
Oh, another plot convenience. Delivered straight to him in a Chuck E. Cheese token. You're gonna need this for later, when we run out of things to do to get characters from one place to another.
Squeaky wheel. I have a squeaky wheel. Squeak eliminated. Thank you.
Okay, I like this droid. It's the only thing I've liked about this movie so far. Other than the monkey elves.
An earth monkey.
This droid doesn't even serve a functional purpose.
What do you mean? You can sell a ton of toys off of him.
The day my parents left, they were on that ship.
Oh yeah, remember Rey's parents? The thing that was supposed to be her whole shtick in the last movie. They're just being brought up now for the first time.
Wait, what the f***? His eyes are red.
Oh my god, it's Darth 3PO.
3-6, bearing 3-2, on a moon in the Endor system.
I'm sorry. So, in order to translate the Sith, it has to, like, come back out of the speaker in some evil, demonic voice? Is that really necessary?
Because the Sith are evil, you see.
Chewie?
What about him?
He's on my ship.
Oh, so Chewie has force powers, so she can tell when Chewie's on the ship? Can she tell where any random person is anywhere?
3PO, move your metal ass. We're almost there.
How dare you?
Move your metal ass.
Bite my shiny metal ass. Take your Chuck E. Cheese token.
Zori, I don't think I can take this.
I don't care what you think.
Dude, you were just trying to kill him like f***ing 5 minutes ago. I'm sure that wasn't even 5 minutes ago. It was about 7 minutes ago.
It's okay, he's gonna get his Bitcoin, and then they're gonna be able to board the ship, even though he's probably one of the most wanted people by the First Order. No one's gonna recognize him. Yeah, Bitcoin.
This feels so f***ing stupid.
Wait, I didn't realize are they boarding the ship right now? Bro, they literally gave them plot convenience in a coin.
Oh
That's
my God.
crazy, dude.
We're just gonna board the First Order ship.
I think by this point I was mentally checking out, and I've had like large stretches of amnesia from what has transpired in this film. There's no one else watching the hangar.
There's nobody else watching the hangar, but also the hangars are not unique. There should be different hangars in Star Wars. They should not all look like the same Imperial hangar.
Drop your weapons!
It's okay that we're here.
It's okay that you're here. It's good.
Did she do that to us?
Okay, actually, I do like the line, can she do that to us? Because that is something that I have asked.
That's somewhat justifiable. How incompetent are the First Order? I get that the Empire was like this in the first movie. Is this an unmanned ship? Where are all the soldiers?
Yeah.
They're just freely roaming around the halls, and they encounter like one group of soldiers. But whatever, we gotta get the dagger back, or Chewie, or whatever. Even though we could have just written the script more cleanly so as to not get in this stupid, convoluted, reality-breaking situation in the first place.
Is he the only prisoner on the ship?
I guess. Like, is there any tension at all? Is there, like, any reason to believe that they're just not gonna mow down every single enemy in their way and get to where they have to go? It just makes sequences like this boring.
They were coming up from behind. They thought to blast with a... Oh my god.
Oh no, look, he got shot. They were probably thinking, like, this is too ridiculous. We have to at least give the impression of danger one time. They literally can't... You can't just run on an Imperial ship completely unopposed and not have any resistance. Oh no, they're getting caught. I guess it really is over for them. Wow. I guess I forgot that scene happened. They're just gonna get off the ship anyway, so it's just basically stalling for time.
I think that justifies a little bit of their Call of Duty moment.
Rey, heal my body. The burns, they still itch.
Rey,
It's just out in the open.
wherever you are hard to find.
What do you mean, wherever you are? Don't you recognize where she is?
I've been in your head.
I don't want this! I don't want this!
That's rape. That's mind rape. Wait, so if she's a Palpatine, did Palpatine, like, space rape her mom?
Maybe. Palpatine didn't like to use condoms. He wanted to feel the full force of the experience.
Terminate them.
Yo, Terminator's in the same universe as Star Wars?
This must be very confusing for their sword fight, where they like keep flickering back and forth between backgrounds.
You. But they wouldn't say
What was the dude? Why include that? It's just distracting. Darth Maz.
Oh no, there goes Darth Vader's mask. Now it's on the
Dude,
sand.
as if Anakin Skywalker couldn't get disrespected anymore.
I already said this before, I hate that they keep using the Vader mask thing, because what they really were trying to do with this was they wanted to explain to the audience that they could not write a better villain than Darth Vader by writing a villain who instead was a whiny little bitch who complains about how he can't be as good as Darth Vader, and then is constantly comparing himself.
And then he actually just ends up not being as good. He never overcomes that
Right.
part of his character motivation.
He never overcomes that part of his character. He's boring, he's a petulant child who just like rages at things.
Oh, but he teases at expedition dumps to make us feel like the story is more interesting than it is.
They should have at least...
I'm the spy.
What?
We don't have much time.
What?
I knew it!
No, you did not.
Well, you know...
What the f***?
It's okay, it's okay. The plot requires that they
No!
get off the ship in like 1 minute.
No, this is bullshit. That's so fucking stupid.
Also, do you like the subtle delivery of "I'm the spy"?
No! That was so retarded. Honestly, I think that was the bigger plot twist than anything Ryan Johnson spit in our face.
Blast me in the arm, or they'll know.
No one saw that they don't have like CCTV in this futuristic space station.
I don't care if you win. I need Kylo Ren to lose.
Okay, I guess that makes a little bit more sense. I got a kiss already.
Are you sure you've seen this movie?
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No, they don't.
Why did he want to kill us?
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No. Okay, you're trolling. You're fucking trolling.
Yeah, I am trolling.
Okay.
You're his granddaughter. You are a Palpatine.
You're a Palpatine? Okay, I got this spoiled for me.
Palpatine loved hookers.
What, is she gonna like commit suicide by jumping off the end? Please do that. It'll make for a more interesting movie.
This reminds me of Star Wars Battlefront 2, where you can like exit the ship outside of the hangar and then jump and fall into the void.
I remember Battlefront 2. Good times.
You know.
Bro, did they super glue his head back together too? I forget, where did that scar come from?
I don't remember where the scar came from.
It's the Millennium Falcon!
What?
Just when you need the injection of soy, it's here.
What? We're gonna turn up the fucking propulsion just to blow back all of the stormtroopers at once.
Rey and Kylo are not getting horrifically burned for some reason.
This movie is gayer than these fucking rainbow Sour Patch Airheads.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Get me the Supreme Leader.
Yes, sir.
Just shoot me so it makes it look like I got away.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just killed him anyway. So what was the point of that? It just makes him look dumb, and then it makes the rest of the First Order look dumb, that they were fooled by him at all. Rey Palpatine should be called the last Palpatine.
That'd be too much of a spoiler. That'd piss everybody.
They already put it in the opening crawl and had him in all the promotional material in the trailers. What's a little more?
They should have literally had some gay line. You weren't the last Skywalker. You were the last Palpatine. Did they just have 4 planets in one shot?
They're in the Endor system again, because they have to go to the remains of the destroyed Death Star.
I've seen this shot before. It's retarded. That's not how the Death Star would have collapsed into the planet. Into the ocean, no less. This is decades after the fact. Do you really think it's going to hold that much structural integrity after it just blew the f*** up? Shut up. Shut the f*** up.
Oh, here comes another good part. Get ready.
Oh, that's so fucking stupid. As if Palpatine knew that this was just gonna magically work.
They knew the exact, this 1,000-year-old Sith blade knew the exact configuration that the second Death Star would fall into the ocean with. And it confirms that it is in fact the second Death Star. Yo, surf's up.
There's something inside there we need.
I can take you there by water.
Don't you guys have spaceships?
We can go first light tomorrow.
We can't wait that long. We don't have the time.
Or the choice.
They can't get another ship? No one on this planet has a ship? Aren't there like speeders in Star Wars that levitate above the ground and they're fairly common on like every planet? Wouldn't they levitate across the water? These people don't have speeders either. How do they know what anything is? It's like a primitive remedial society. Bro, they wouldn't fit in Israel.
Everything is an Israel-Palestine joke. War, Israel. Palestine, Israel.
There's a lot of desert planets in Star Wars.
The Force brought me here. Brought me to Rey and Poe.
You say that like you're sure it's real.
It's real.
What? He has the Force too?
What is Rey just like crossing the ocean with the Force?
I mean, at this point, why not just make her literally levitate across? Like Princess Leia in The Last Jedi. Why are they still so concerned about Rey when it's clear that she can just magically get out of any situation or peril that she's ever encountered? But oh no, a few waves? That's too dangerous for her? Gotta act concerned to make it feel like not just going from point A to point B 17 different times. Basically no resistance.
What are you talking about? There's a whole bunch of resistance.
Oh yeah. I mean, they almost all died in the last movie.
I was just trying to make a bad pun because they're the resistance.
I understand.
I'm sorry. See, it's funnier
But,
if I explain the
hey,
joke.
look, it's like the old Death Star. It's kind of cool, right?
Oh, it's kind of like the old Star Destroyers she used to climb around in.
Yeah, it's like it's like Lando was flying around in the interior, and now she's physically climbing it.
You'd think with all of her climbing experience, she would have been more careful to lay all of her weight on that one.
It's okay. We're just padding out the runtime some more. What, she like did all this stuff, but she's just gonna fall here.
I would love a movie like that, where it's like the plot twist is that they die in the most benign, boring way possible. The way that you do in a video game.
Look, it's the Emperor's old throne room. Remember that from the last movie?
Oh, dude, I remember.
And they're playing the same music cue to make sure you remember, because they couldn't think of anything new or interesting. Yeah, we get it.
And the door opens automatically. Why?
There's still power in the ship, I guess. Oh wait, no, a great scene is about to occur. That's why.
You know, I'm confident that this movie's gonna turn itself around. I still believe
that Star Wars can be saved.
I do believe it can.
Does it actually feel like anything has happened to this point? We're about to enter the third act. It feels like almost no progress has been made to the actual plot.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're 3/5 of the way through the movie. The ending's gonna be great. The last 2/5 of the movie are great. The first 3/5, it was a compromise. Because they realized that the last hour is so good.
Starting now.
See? Plot twist. There's more women in Star Wars.
Not just any women.
A Sith woman.
Don't you recognize her? It's Darth Rey.
What?
And she has pointy teeth.
What?
She has veneers.
I thought that was her mom for a second. See, it's the 3/5 compromise. And then the other 2/5 are... How did he get here? I'm sorry, what even was that? Was that a holocron?
No, that was like another one of those things that's supposed to lead you to the Emperor. The whole point of this has been going from a place to a place to a place to a place, trying to get the holocron so they can find out how to go to the Emperor, because it's not on the existing star maps.
Okay, here's that other scene that I've seen from the commercial.
I mean, it sure looks cool. Like a cool place to fight.
Yeah, this is the lightsaber battle on the RMS Titanic as it's sinking. Very classic
That's
scene.
my hopes and dreams for Star Wars not being cringe. Imagine that.
Ouch.
Imagine that. Finn running out and screaming Rey. He's been doing the same exact thing for 3 movies, and he hasn't changed.
He's still simping for that.
At
white
some
girl
point,
pussy.
it's just a total joke.
Oh, this is just segregation.
He's gonna shout Rey one more time. Dude, that's all he does. He's like a Pokemon. Oh my god, dude. The scene is like no dramatic way because it's unclear what any of these characters actually wants, and we're all just stalling because we know Palpatine's the real villain, so it's just like not gonna accomplish anything. Bro, what was the point of that?
I honestly don't like how they've made lightsabers less crisp. They're more sparkly now. There used to be the sharpness to the earlier ones because that's all they could physically accomplish with the technology. Whereas now, they can make them look like there's all of these flame particles coming off.
They're all wiggly.
They're wiggly, and I don't like that. But I will say, the VFX artist who started that, I do respect him. He's actually Andrew Kramer from Video Copilot. Did you know that?
Hey, what's up? Andrew Kramer here, VideoCopilot.net.
Rey, she's finally dead. Something that should have happened in the first act of the last movie. Damn, she's evil.
What?
Here's what I don't get. If she had just, like, stabbed him outright, that could have potentially been an interesting, compelling scene. But you gotta constantly interject all the other old characters into what the new characters are doing. Like, imagine if, when Luke is fighting Vader at the end of The Empire Strikes Back, that Obi-Wan randomly comes in and says, Luke, you have to dodge left. Now dodge right.
I'm gonna heal him now.
It's just like, I'm tired of thinking about the old characters when this movie is supposed to be about the new characters. So like, I guess it's supposed to be, oh, it's an emotional scene. She died. But honestly, I don't care that she died because she should have been dead at the beginning of The Last Jedi where it made the most logical sense for a character to die. Oh, but now we're sad because we love Leia. Ugh. Has Kylo won a single fight in this entire trilogy? He has to be made just like the biggest jabroni out of any character in this show.
This show.
He's such a cuck. Oh my god. He just got killed and then respawned. You should basically just teabag her like it's a Call of Duty lobby because he keeps getting humiliated. It's like no wonder they have to bring back Palpatine as the main villain. Rey! As the main villain.
Rey. We're just laughing at it.
We were just awkwardly staring for like minutes.
You know what'd be really funny is if she just woke up.
She went like,
You gotta see
Oh my god, dude. Damn, people are so sad that like this 86-year-old woman died. I can't believe it.
Hey, kid.
What? What?
Who do you think it is? Look, we haven't been reminded of the old cast enough. Dude, this guy's like schizophrenia. He needs to get checked out. He's like having visions where he's talking to people through space and time. And old people who've died.
He's gonna kill him again.
That would have actually been good. Dude, he's such a cuck. Oh my god.
He looks like such a soy boy. Such a little crybaby.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Stop crying! God damn it.
Isn't it that's the same line he said before in the 7th movie? I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Can't write anything new. It all has to be based on something else.
Yeah. Is he gonna hug him this time instead of kill him? Is he gonna blow his brains out?
He should just kill himself. I mean, there's nothing else for this character to do at this point. You idiot.
You're gonna need that for later, bud. And then his dad's just gone, so it's like, fuck, why did I do that?
Dude, he's just schizophrenic. What is this, man?
Go to therapy.
Oh yeah, the main villain we're supposed to be caring about is the first time we're seeing him in an hour and 40 minutes. Has he been in contact with the First Order this whole time, or is it just now happening?
I want to take a moment to acknowledge the previous Star Wars movies. Let's ignore the giant electro dick that was just on screen there.
How about the First Order having some nice women empowerment? They do not discriminate by gender.
That's great. Dude!
Do you think Babu got out of that alive?
How? There's a 9/11 in every single one of these movies. There was one 9/11 that happened in the first 6 movies, and then since these new 3 have come out, there's been one in like every episode. The shot which blows up 6 different planets or something like that in episode 7. You have the hyperspace jump in episode 8.
What now?
Hey, remember Rose Tika? Remember her? Did you like how this is like her second line in an hour and 40 minutes when she was supposedly an integral part of the last film? Don't you like all this resources to build up these characters, give them screen time, just to have them be irrelevant or dead?
Getting me to
or both?
Fucking elephant.
Hey!
Hey, look, this dinosaur's back again. He's in a Star Trek outfit because he's over this shit.
You cannot have a character from the old cast not on screen for 5 minutes.
Let's look at a little book over here. She's This is Star Wars, the magic of myth right here. So much of what inspired the original 6 movies was mythology. So much of what George Lucas had written was based off of uniforms from Nazis or things like that. Old kings, legacies. You have thousands of years of history that used to influence what Star Wars was. And then I'm looking at all of this. Where do you think the Porgs came from in history? Where do you think that came from? I'll tell you where it came from. Didn't come from any myth, didn't come from any history, any sort of respect for the universe in which we live in and using that to try and inspire this world that somebody had created. No, instead, they threw out any myth and instead thought...
Well, you know, you couldn't have had all the other old characters without having Luke in here as well. Oh, another thing that basically retcons the entire last film and changes his characterization, thus making the whole Last Jedi and Luke's arc in The Last Jedi pointless. I get that people didn't like The Last Jedi, but I would have preferred for it to be meaningful and have sequentially amounted to something, rather than just walking it all back here and saying like, okay, sorry, Rian Johnson was a mistake, Luke is back to being optimistic or whatever, and his sacrifice was meaningless. It's like Anakin's lightsaber, I guess.
No, that's not Anakin's lightsaber.
Oh yeah, this training we never got to see.
God, she's
until now.
unmasked
Just
for
this random exposition dump scene.
None of this feels like it means anything.
Leia had lightsaber training the whole time. Why didn't she get her ass out on the battlefield?
She's dressed like an Assassin's Creed character right now.
No, she was going through her hermit phase for like 2 minutes. And Luke was like, do not do that.
I didn't even recognize that's what was happening.
Oh, and you gotta lift the X-Wing up for the 7,000th time!
Oh boy. Yeah.
Remember the X-Wing being lifted out of the Dagobah Swamp? Remember the X-Wing being lifted out of the Dagobah Swamp? Swamp!
I do remember that, and now Luke is doing it. That's really... wow. See, because Yoda did it before in front of Luke.
You soy people have done this. Stop equating a good movie with references.
What are you talking about? This is great. He just lifted the X-Wing.
You people, you brain-rotted millennials, have done this.
Mr. Lemon, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Why can't you smile with me? Is he gonna, like, sting him and his whole memory comes back?
Yep.
It's literally...
So it didn't even matter. Oh, what a worthy sacrifice.
Malware bites. I didn't know that was in the Star Wars movie.
This movie is malware. It's trying to warn us.
Hey, look, she's wearing the helmet that Luke once wore.
Oh my god, they're in like some intestines. The hell is this?
It's Star Wars Vor.
Then we go together.
We go together. We kiss.
I fight for my friends.
Come on, buddy. We need you.
Well, at least they made Chewie still depressed. That's accurate. They don't just, like, have him move on. He's the only character who's remained with his emotions, and he's the one who, like, literally only speaks and growls.
It's because they couldn't ruin his dialogue with crappy idioms and snappy comebacks, because he doesn't speak.
Right.
Yeah. We think hitting the cannons might ignite the main reactors.
God, she's so hot.
God, I want to buy a toy. Hey, is that Admiral Akbar's cousin? Is that Admiral Akbar's cousin?
They're all in CG now.
It's just like...
oh, look at the CG there. Oh, that was bad.
They're trying to give the impression of the end of Return of the Jedi by having a bunch of people who look like you had an AI, you had Dolly Mini trying to redraw Admiral Akbar, but slightly different. And you just have the same old-ass characters.
Leia never gave up.
Leia never gave
Didn't she
up.
literally lie down and die like 20 minutes ago?
I think there was a purpose for that. I just don't remember what it was, and I don't think any of us cared.
Oh no, my 2 favorite children are fighting. I gotta die and remind them to have like a little We Are the World moment. Kumbaya.
You know, there's this focus on Leia, despite...
The Tantive 4 is here? Why? Why?
The shot's coming, isn't it? The big shot where there's so many fucking ships, it's retarded. I think I remember seeing a little behind-the-scenes thing on this shot.
Oh, they got the X-Wing, the Y-Wing.
Y-Wing.
No one has made any new ships in the last 40 canonical years.
They got the Z-Wing. They got...
Why, dude? We get it. There's stuff from the old movies. Dude, it's so embarrassing. Oh my god. It's an embarrassing lack of imagination. Or just the hope that these brain-rotted soy millennials who'll eat up whatever slop that Disney puts out for them and clap, rate 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, 10 out of 10 on IMDb, and go on Twitter and reply to anyone who calls this film rightfully shit. So you can sit there and point at the screen and soy out, you bunch of soylent drinking, soy facing fucks. We gotta put the Tantive 4 in there to remind you of the old movies.
Oh, are you assuming that all of them can pilot their way through this fucking mess?
Oh yeah, all that stuff they said about solar winds. It's not too hard, apparently. They could just go, because they need to be from point A to point B.
I'm sorry, are they all doing a hyperspace jump right now into the atmosphere?
Look at that fleet.
Great, now they'll probably all get obliterated by this massively overmatched fleet, won't they?
I'm sorry, look at how close they are to the clouds. I think they all just pulled out of light speed within the allotted distance. Oh my god, that's worse than earlier. That's worse than the fucking... They did the hyperspace jump to like 5 different planets. That was bad enough, but all of these Ooh, the Palpatine theme is playing now.
He has a bunch of Eldritch statues.
What a narcissist. He's got so many statues of himself. I would only have one statue of myself.
Did he have like one giant stonemason or like 10,000 regular sized stonemasons?
He used the Force.
Oh yeah, this planet is just made by the Force. Like the Force can create an evil planet now.
I sculpted them with the Force.
I sculpted them in my image. Down to every last wrinkle.
Switch over the source of navigation signal to this ship.
Like the navigation signal needs to be on one ship. They don't have like a little Wi-Fi router on the planet to help them take off. What is even happening? Did they think this through for more than 2 seconds when they wrote this? Or it's like, we have 18 months to make this movie. We fired the director who's going to work on it, who had a whole other story worked out, and now we just need an ending. So, whatever. Put the fucking pieces together. It's going to work. It's going to fit. It doesn't matter. The fleet can't take off because the navigation is on one ship. Okay, whatever. Oh, here comes another great scene.
Hey look, they're trotting on horseback. This is the shot you mentioned.
I believe it was during the scene where the heroes are fighting the heavily armed space fleet on horseback when I really started rethinking my life choices. Star Wars, as I knew it, was dead. It was something I had suspected all along, and by now, there was no more childhood naivete to cushion the blow. It dawned on me that all those years I had spent as a die-hard fan had meant absolutely nothing.
You know, if like one laser goes in there, they're all dead. Oh, it's getting good. It's getting good, boys.
And BB-8 is able to catch up.
This is where we make the money.
Hold on, so they're on like horseback, and BB-8 is able to keep up with that speed.
They need one laser can hit them, and they'll all die.
I mean, that too. Sorry, we keep interrupting each other. We're both like pissed about...
Yes, to my interior designer, I would like another spike here, and another spike here.
I'm going to use lightning to make this place spooky. It reminds people
We'll install
of
a
their powers.
giant Tesla coil in the core of the planet so that I'm constantly surrounded by lightning.
Yes.
Because a defining trait of my character is that I shoot lightning.
Now I'm going to do the most evil thing ever. Make love to my daughter.
My granddaughter. Somehow I think that would have been less offensive than how the movie actually ends.
I would have preferred that. Empress.
Dude, put on some gold bond. Jesus Christ. You have all this shit built?
It is in your blood.
What is he, Gladys? From Portal? Hanging from the ceiling like
Yeah,
that?
it's Emperor Gladys. I guess he just controls a giant bionic arm. Dude, someone just pull the plug and that'll kill him. Really doing this again?
Is what I want. Kill me.
Me too. But how? He's thinking what all of us are thinking.
They all fired it to life at once? Why? I don't follow what's going on.
Believe it or not, in this fleet of 10,000 ships, all they have to do is blow up that nav tower and they can't take off. And there's no failsafe or any sort of backup plan. Once again, the First Order / Empire / whatever the fuck has designed a giant thing with one fatal weakness. You'd think they'd learn eventually, but no. Just blow up the thing like in fucking Legend of Zelda and then it's all fixed. Just jump around, bing bing wahoo, shoot the thing, and then... Dude, one grenade!
No, it's a Rube Goldberg machine, don't you know? They have it set up so that if an explosive goes off in any hallway inside of a Star Destroyer, it just slowly destroys and trickles to exactly what you...
Just one grenade and then disabled the thing! I think by this point I was like spazzing out in my chair and I was like half paying attention. I disabled the thing with one grenade. Oh my god, dude.
The time has come.
Okay, what is this, the army of Palpatines?
They got the chorus from the Phantom Menace Duel of the Fates.
All you want is for me to hate, but I won't.
I will.
Like your parents.
Like that hooker I banged 100 years ago. Well, I guess it must have... When would that have happened? I mean, if Rey's like only, what, 20s?
Yeah.
And her parents look like they're in their 30s or 20s when they left her. So I guess it was 50 years ago. It was like while he was building the Death Star.
No, or like after he died, he used the Force to do space rape.
I guess that's how Anakin's born. Maybe it does conclude the Skywalker saga.
They don't have long.
I'm showing you your friends for dramatic effect, like in the old movie. Oh my god, people are actually dying? Oh my god, a fleet of 10,000 Star Destroyers are actually killing some of the protagonists?
Oh yeah, but not the important ones.
Dude, there's like 100 of them. How have they not been completely obliterated? I think I hate the protagonists more than Palpatine at this point.
When I saw the trailer for Episode 8, I remember there's a moment at the end where it's like, Luke says, "It's time for the Jedi to die," or like, "It's time for the Jedi to end." And I remember being so checked out of Star Wars by then that I wanted to make a parody where instead he's like, "It's time for this shitty franchise to end." And that's how I feel right now.
Dude, what is he doing?
He's going down to tell Rey that I don't know what he's doing. Never mind. He has like Tourette's or something. Even though he's not looking for Rey, he just screams that out.
Rose, please, go.
Rose, please go away. That's what he's saying.
Get out of here.
I don't like how you sexually assaulted my face in the last movie. I was trying to kill myself. I've been suicidal for quite some time.
He sucks so much. Why is he here? He just loses every fight. Oh my god.
He loses to the Emperor's gay ghost guards.
The Jedi are dead!
Good. If this is what the Jedi are, I want them to die. Dude, why are they not beating the snot out of him? Why does everyone just take a break for something to happen? You know, well, like Vader was contemplating saving Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi. He was getting fried by freaking lightning. People just didn't pause dramatically to say, let's let them have their moment.
What?
Magic trick.
The little hand gesture. The cute little...
It's so lame.
You know what that was? That was like the Keanu hand gesture. Except it wasn't cute.
You know, that wouldn't even have had to happen if he didn't throw away his one weapon like an idiot. Because of his schizophrenic hallucinations.
Wait, now she has it again? What, did they duplicate it?
I guess that was the lightsaber she had before she took Leia's lightsaber. She had two lightsabers.
Oh, don't tell me they're gonna kiss.
They can't possibly do that, right, Brian? I mean, first of all, it wouldn't make any sense. Second of all, it would just be kind of dumb and unnecessary and tonally disparate. Dude, Gold Bond goes a long way.
Did he totally just steal their souls or something?
Force
Yo, that's the power of Gold Bond right there. Wait, so all that stuff he was saying earlier about how she was supposed to kill him and take his place, is he just like improvising this now? This totally unexpected thing, or is he just omniscient? He knows everything's gonna happen.
And they're just gonna... Oh my god, this is so fucking lame, dude.
Oh, Porkins. Remember Porkins? They're even referencing Porkins, because they cannot come up with a single new idea. God, he fucking sucks. All the protagonists in this movie suck. Yeah, I'm a loser. Sorry guys, I fucked up. 3 movies, I couldn't figure out how to do anything. Oh, but here comes an old guy to save the day! Here comes an old guy from the old movies that you remember.
Here's that gay shot I was talking about. And they're all doing the hyperspace jump and stopping in the atmosphere.
Wow, what a mysterious secret planet that every single person with a ship knows how to get to. God. Don't you want to buy toys of these new characters without how heroic they're being? Moping and crying about how bad they are at being heroes and having to be bailed out by octogenarians every 10 minutes? So did all these people just commute to Exegol? How can it be secret? This must be a workforce of like 20 million people. But it's a secret? No one knows how to get there? We have to spend the first 2 hours of the movie going on a goose chase where nothing eventful happens.
They CC'd them in the email. They were like, hey, check out these coordinates. That's where the bad guys are.
There's 20 million? You mean to say they all live here? On the evil lightning planet?
No, they use light speed or whatever. Don't you understand how that works? It just allows you to travel anywhere you want.
Why is he wearing a red blazer? What is happening? He's wearing like a red kimono.
He's a weeb.
Once I fell, so falls the last Skywalker.
Oh, he said the thing. Good, he's dead.
Yes!
He went in the poopy hole of lightning.
I like fantasizing about these characters permanently dying. Palpatine is dressed like he was just shopping at Elton John's garage sale.
Here comes another good part. Ow, ow, no, the zappy zap hurts. Oh no, ow, ow. So stupid.
I'm sorry, I zoned out. I don't even know what's going on. Is he using the lightning to kill everybody?
He's not actually killing them, he's momentarily disabling them.
Are you one of those single-tier people?
Look, she's happy to see everyone dying. I'd be happy too, good. I hate all the protagonists. They're so weak and stupid and ineffective. They deserve this. They deserve to all be killed and have the Emperor rise again and let the Sith rule the galaxy again. They deserve it.
Balance, Ray, as I did.
Yo, she's listening to ASMR.
You're not alone, Ray.
Mace Windu is there too.
Lives in you.
Qui-Gon is there? Dude, what did Qui-Gon even do?
Rise, Ray. We stand behind you, Ray.
She's hulking up. She's hulking up.
The Force will be with you, always.
All I needed was a little words of encouragement from my friends.
Let your death be the final word in the story of rebellion.
Wait, I thought he was doing the lightning thing.
And I thought that he like stole her soul anyway or whatever.
Yeah, isn't that why he's alive and walking around now?
What, did she like get it back? Did the Jedi just hand it to her because they think she's worthy now?
I am all the Sith.
And I'm all the Jedi.
She's got 2 lightsabers. She's got so much more power now. It's a done deal.
Her friends are helping her.
Oh, and his face is melting away. You can see his brain.
Oh great, he's just gonna clone himself again.
Oh no, that won't
I mean,
happen
like, clearly
this time.
killing the Emperor doesn't cause him to be dead, so...
What's the difference between her killing him as all of the Jedi and killing him as herself?
Why are you so incompetent?
Oh no, Tom Hanks died.
Somehow this fleet of 10,000 ships is just no match for a couple of random ships driven by civilians.
I see him. I'm going to get him.
Oh great, give Poe one heroic thing to do.
Not as fast as this ship.
Oh wait, he has to be undercut there too? Dude! This movie hates its protagonists. Holy shit, dude. You can't even let Poe have that? Lando rescue. Poe just sits around and does nothing, and just gets one-upped by an 80-year-old man. Man, how heroic. Don't you want to buy his toys?
I'm so lost. I'm so fucking lost, man.
Star Wars fans are
Clearly lost, man. Clearly lost. I don't even know what to say no more, man.
Oh boy. We done with this yet? Hey, look, it's escaping ass.
Nope. You have to watch the best scene in the movie.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Remember how earlier
Shut up.
You thought I was trolling?
Shut up. Shut the fuck 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 up. I'm smiling because I still don't think it's gonna happen. I still think you're trolling.
He doesn't believe they would do that to us. He doesn't believe they would do something
the fuck up.
So vile.
Shut the fuck up. 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 You're not gonna kiss a dead girl. Okay. We're good. No kisses here.
Yep, a hug. That should surely be enough to accomplish what they're trying to do with these characters. Alright, you've had your moment. Now you could just move on. You can cut away. Right now would be a good time to cut away. Or even right now, you can cut away. The scene can be over, you know? Maybe she died. You know, she died. You can let her be dead. They're not cutting away.
Shut the fuck up.
They're not cutting away.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, crapper bad pussy. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Alright. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut.
When I watched this in theaters, the audience audibly groaned during this scene. There was no endearment, there was no cheering. People audibly groaned. This was cringe then, and now I don't even know how to describe it. But there we go, climactic ending of the Disney Star Wars trilogy. Well, there's more, there's people celebrating and stuff, but that, suffice to say, is the taste that everyone was left with when we walked out of the theater. Audible groans from the audience then. They knew it was cringe then. This movie has an 85% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe.
85?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's good. Like, that can't be it. You mean, like, how would it get that high of a rating?
Star Wars fans want to believe that they didn't just waste 20 years of hype that all led to this.
51% from critics. Fans, 86%.
They had to do it. They couldn't resist. They couldn't have one little bit of subtlety. The one shred of dignity that the series had left. Snip! Now do you see what I see, Brian? Now do you see why I don't really get excited about anything Star Wars related anymore? They had to do it. They had, if all the other crap wasn't enough. If they hadn't done this, I might have let it slide. But this was simply egregious. There's no explanation or rationale for this. Well, let's finish it out.
Yep.
And Caesar wept because there were no more worlds left to conquer.
What, is he gonna die now? What, are they just like trade places here or something?
Yeah, he died, but
what?
Who cares?
What? No, what do you mean, who cares?
So they didn't.
The two of them fucking kiss, she has the power to heal, and then oh my god!
You did good, Mazza. You did good.
What the fuck?
That's the end of the Skywalker saga. Oh, and it's sunny on the evil planet now. Just so you know that good has triumphed over evil. It's sunny.
Raise a lot. People are rising up all over the galaxy.
The gamers are rising up.
Oh yeah, at this point I was rising up out of my seat.
Hey, look, and the Ewoks.
Split
Split engines. There they are again. They still haven't ditched that design.
Don't you feel happy?
Don't you feel happy? Don't you feel joyful? Don't you feel like a big Star Wars fan?
Aren't you glad you spent your whole life being a fan of this series just to have it turn into this?
What? What was that? Like some flirtatious look?
You can have Rey kiss Kylo, which makes absolutely no sense at all, but you can't have characters with an actual romantic chemistry do anything. Oh, and Chewie finally got his medal, because he didn't get his medal.
Wow, that's great.
So you can get one last Soyan point from the pathetic millennials that this slop is made for. Oh, I can feel the hate flowing through me. Why have her be bloody at all? I mean, she just wins everything she tries for no reason. Just have her be spotless. Ah, yeah, the trio of characters who accomplished basically nothing. You have one massively overpowered character who wins everything she touches, and there's no stakes or tension that she might fail. And then the other two characters do nothing but fail, and have to have octogenarians come in and do what they're supposed to do for them. But yeah, our heroic Star Wars trio, they're still here, they're still happy. We need one more shameless crap scene to close out the trilogy. Why not do it where it all began?
I gotta look at some of these audience reviews. Somebody wrote it was entertaining at best and gave it a good review. What's the point of this?
So she can do the stupid Luke Skywalker pose from A New Hope.
Oh, really? Is
that
really what they're doing here?
Yes, I'm not even gonna be cute with this. That's what's happening because we can't have any single solitary thing from the originals not ruined by this complete travesty, train wreck, bankruptcy of imagination.
Oh, and she's just gonna bury it.
That belongs in a museum. So do you.
What's that?
PP lightsaber.
Who are you?
I'm Rey.
Rey who?
Oh, great. I'm like trying to ignore it a little bit.
They couldn't even make that subtle. You know what she's gonna say. Everyone knows it's been telegraphed the whole time. But you need to freaking have this because the audience is too stupid to understand otherwise.
Rise Skywalker.
And BB-8 is randomly here. Why? See, like, does BB-8 need to be here? Or do we need to shove more shit on the screen during this shot that's supposed to make us feel good? But it made me feel the worst I've ever felt for any movie. Ever.
How do you think J.J. Abrams feels about this?
Well, he probably thinks it's a piece of shit. Well, he did what he could in 18 months, I guess.
Oh, you want to hear something funny? I was struggling to remember what they called them, but the twin sons in Star Wars, they're called Tattoo 1 and Tattoo 2. I knew it was something really dumb, but I couldn't remember.
Another Wikipedia certified classic.
Yeah. There's tons of useless facts, like the planet which R2-D2 and all astromech droids are developed on, never touched on in the lore, but it's named in the same way that Kuat is named, but technically we have seen stuff on Kuat. If you remember the episode, it's not an episode, it's Rogue One. Remember the scene where they're on that one planet at the way end of the movie, the manufacturing planet? That was Kuat. Rogue One is actually good. It's the only good movie that Star Wars has gotten out of Disney.
Oh, they credited Alec Guinness for Obi-Wan, meaning they had to have deepfaked his voice.
Oh, you know how much Alec Guinness hated Star Wars?
Honestly, I'm closer to him now than I was before I watched this movie originally.
He didn't even like it when it came out.
I think I heard that, where he said it was just like a bunch of crap.
He said it was crap. The reason that he hated Star Wars so much was because it became the only thing he was recognized for. He would go out in public and people would see him and go, "Whoa, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi!" He'd been in all of these other roles. That was so disappointing for him. It got to a point where a kid asked him to sign, maybe it was like a t-shirt or like a toy or something like that, but some kid wanted something signed by him, and he said, "Oh yes, absolutely, but only if you promise to never watch that damn movie again."
He saw the future. He saw what it would become back then. We should have listened.
The demise of the franchise like this was probably just inevitable. There's no way to continue this Star Wars, Marvel, or just any shtick indefinitely. It's all eventually going to fall apart, and that's just the sad reality. If you seek to continue it, and you continue to have the story develop on itself, eventually there's this. Can you think of a single product that has continued on for as long as something like Star Wars and hasn't turned to shit? I mean, the only thing that I can think of that comes close is a television show, and it's The Simpsons. It's a disaster now. Every once in a while, there's episodes that come out that people say are pretty good. The series is never going to be able to match Season 6.
Well, with The Simpsons, the archetype of The Simpsons is dated now.
Right.
They're supposed to be a struggling middle-class family, and there are attributes about that are lost in translation in our modern world. Sure, you still have the same characters, but stuff like their house and what they do and what general character traits are, that was part of the 90s zeitgeist. People like Homer, Marge, Bart, they don't really exist in our contemporary times, at least how they're designed as core characters. I mean, you can give Bart an iPhone and make him floss, but in order to adapt them to the modern age, you lose the soul of what it was originally, even the ontology of what the characters actually are. And it's funny you bring that up because I don't know at this point if Star Wars was meant for today. I think the original movies, wasn't the original Star Wars based on like the grand westerns and the samurai movies of the 60s? Movies were different back then. So much complexity has been put into modern filmmaking. The original story of Star Wars was simple. The simplicity creates a level of inflexibility where you can't really work the world into a lot of modern sensibilities. It's a little bit rigid, it's a little bit dated, and the more you try to put our modern standards of everything into Star Wars, something that was made as this grand homage to the samurai and western movies of the 60s, it starts to fall apart. Much like with The Simpsons, you wind up with something that is unrecognizable. I gotta have the Chinese credits.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, China, for making this experience possible.
What you were just saying is an interesting take. I mentioned earlier the myth. It's not just the references and how much George had loved old westerns, old sci-fi. It's also just how, when you were saying that simplistic story, a lot of that comes from the hero's journey.
Yeah, it's like Camelot, right?
Yeah, it's tied to old myth and a lot of intriguing old concepts that now just can't be explored because they're too simplistic for modern audiences. The way they janked up the formula was by making everything so complex that it no longer has any basis in reality anymore.
Here's the problem. It is simultaneously complex. Convoluted is a more accurate term, plot-wise and exposition-wise, but the information and visual style and delivery has to be dumbed down and simplified. One, because this may be a cynical take that some disagree with, but I feel like audiences are dumber and less sophisticated today than they were in the 1970s when the original Star Wars came out. And international release has become a huge thing, so you can't write it in a way to, one, alienate certain cultural standards, and two, have things that are lost in translation just with basic aspects of language. So you have to kind of sand off the edges and make it this polished polished, smooth, suppository thing. And the greatest movies are not smooth, polished products. They have rough and caustic parts to them, and these are the things that are memorable. These are the scenes you remember in movies. It's not the scenes where everyone is happy because the bad guy is defeated. You're describing a million different movies. What is actually the value that movies give us? What is actually the attributes of movies that cause us to want to watch it a second time? For how high the damn audience score is for this Rise of Skywalker travesty of a film on Rotten Tomatoes, how many of these reviewers who go and storm the review section on Rotten Tomatoes, on IMDb, spamming your 10 out of 10 scores, how many watched this movie again voluntarily? How many went out of their way and said, you know what, The Rise of Skywalker was so good, I feel like watching it again? Because that's the true mark of whether a movie was actually impactful and compelling and made a real impression on you, rather than just a product, a consumer product that's tied to your fandom and sense of identity, because everyone's identity now has to be tied to just corporate capitalist products that were once based on something interesting, but are now just husks of familiar faces and just an epileptic barrage of non-stop references of the familiar to just jack up that reward center of your brain and to make it look like you're actually having an enjoyable experience. It's a sad state in cinema. And I'm honestly glad, this may come off as tone deaf to some people, but I'm honestly glad that in 2023 Hollywood is bleeding out with all this crap and junk that they keep putting out. No different from this movie. And I'm sure all of you guys enjoying all these other franchises are gradually going to get to this point, if you haven't gotten there already.
That's what I was saying.
You look through the coming attractions in the movie and you just can't help but say to yourself, this is all a bunch of junk. It's just junk. And that's what this movie is. And it doesn't matter how many of you sycophantic Star Wars fans rush to Rotten Tomatoes to jack up the user score. It's junk. And there's no way around it. I hesitate to use this phrase as much, but if you enjoy this movie and unironically see nothing wrong with it, you are objectively wrong. And there is something wrong with the way you consume media. If you like this movie, you need to stop watching movies and go back to reading Dr. Seuss and understand the basics of storytelling and the basics of what media and stories are actually supposed to accomplish for us. Because what this isn't anything that's good for anybody.
The only objectively good qualities that you could say about this movie are on a visual par. They have really good visual effects. They're able to transform what the idea of what they were trying to create was into a visually understandable sort of image. But that doesn't mean anything anymore because these multi-billion-dollar corporations have the tools and assets at their disposal to make gutter trash look good. And I think what a lot of people are missing is if you try to just put it into words and have somebody read it in a book, it's not going to translate. And I think that's probably one of the greatest ways to identify if a story is truly great, is if you can have somebody tell it back to you, or you can just read it out of a book and have it carry the same emotional weight. So much of what happened here was as you were describing. It was just, oh, now they go here now. Now they go here now. And there's like little things to sort of click the puzzle pieces together in a rough sort of way. But if you were to try and read a novelization of this, none of those pieces are going to feel like they make any sense. You remember junior novels? I got Star Wars junior novels right here. They're not going to lend themselves perfectly in the same way that the films do, but there's more of a story going on here. In Episode 1, which is one of the worst Star Wars movies, in my opinion, and the opinion of many people, not as bad as this one. Even something like Episode 1, you're able to cohesively understand the process at which things are happening and why. There's a level of understanding with the exposition, whereas I'm thinking about things from the perspective of this as a junior novel. I'm thinking any poor kid who decided to read the novel first is probably just really fucking confused. Can you see an outcome where somebody reads through this shit and walks away thinking, wow, even though I didn't watch the movie, that was a great end to this franchise? Absolutely not.
I mean, we just watched it, and I have no logical explanation for 75% of the events that happen. Stuff just happens.
Yeah, you're right.
It was written by people who took a bunch of Adderall and PCP and pumped out a script in like a couple nights. That's what it comes off as. There's no logical threads It's just a random amassment of events. It feels like an AI generated thing. When you get farther away from the source material and you keep asking it to generate and expand farther out, it just starts losing all sense of anything, and it just starts shoving random stuff. It thinks that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what the story of The Rise of Skywalker feels like. And I want to briefly talk about here, there is a debate in the series over whether this movie or The Last Jedi was worse. And in my mind, there's no comparison. Within The Last Jedi, there is a workable story. It is workable. There are scenes you can cut. There are certain little small decisions you can change in The Last Jedi, and you can make an actual compelling movie. I don't agree with this idea that they completely screwed up Luke's character. In fact, there's a video I have to recommend by the YouTuber Neril. He made a video in defense of The Last Jedi. And I'm not saying you have to love The Last Jedi, but he does a pretty good job arguing that the decisions Rian Johnson made with the story in The Last Jedi were at least thematically sound, and not some giant affront to the Star Wars lore as a whole, which is what's been the narrative for many people when you ask them about The Last Jedi. My point is, The Last Jedi has a workable story within it where you can mix things around, you could edit it, and have it come out with a decent product. This movie, The Rise of Skywalker, there is no saving it. It is corrupted to the core. There is nothing you can do with this movie without completely overhauling everything. The story, character arcs, everything. This movie is rotten to the core. It is unworkable. It is a complete corrupted mess. So in my mind, there's no question over which film is worse. This right here is indefensible.
There's a good argument to be made, though, that this film would not have turned out the way that it did if it was not for mistakes that were made in The Last Jedi. If The Last Jedi was not this weird, manipulated piece by Rian Johnson to try and go, what a twist, like it was an M. Night Shyamalan film, then we probably would have gotten a bit more of a boring and generic Episode 9, but it would have been something that would have been satisfying to people who wanted a reintroduction to Star Wars after all these years. I think Episode 8 had ruined what a lot of people had theorized was going to happen. Do you know about the dark and light side uniting theories that people had after Episode 7 came out?
That's like one of the things where to achieve true balance, they would have to like move to an era beyond the Sith and the Jedi.
Right, yeah. There was this idea that since this was supposed to be the last trilogy, you were going to have these two characters and this very predictable plot twist where you find out that Rey is a Skywalker, and now they gotta defeat Snoke, and the only way that they're gonna be able to defeat Snoke is if they team up. This idea of the dark side and the light side teaming together would have been like the final end to the series, because in a way you could say that the prophecy of the Skywalkers had passed all the way down to this point, where now there's no longer this divide. There can be this balance, and that would have been interesting. Not exactly the ending that I would have wanted to have to Star Wars, but it would have been better than this.
That would have actually been progression.
Right. I think that would have been the ideal direction, and that's probably what J.J. Abrams was going to do. Unfortunately for him, Snoke was completely... They had to find a way to work Palpatine in. Honestly, being under that much pressure to make something in 18 months, I understand why this turned into what it did, and I can almost say it wasn't really J.J. Abrams' fault. If he was more creative as an artist, maybe he could have transformed this into something genuinely interesting. Rian Johnson had made something interesting, but wasn't Star Wars. And that's one of my main points when talking about The Last Jedi. I like Rian Johnson. I think he's a good director, but he's not a Star Wars director. That makes me wonder, who could have made a good Star Wars if J.J. Abrams was just going to do something boring and safe, and Rian Johnson was going to misdirect us?
There's this whole chicken and the egg thing of where did Star Wars actually go wrong? Because remember how happy people were when Disney bought Star Wars, and how like vilified and hated George Lucas was after the prequels? Well, tables have certainly turned on that. This garbage Disney franchise has been the best thing to happen to George Lucas this century. I mean, talk about being redeemed. Well, yes, the prequels in a lot of ways are still underwhelming. It's not even close to just like the depths of depravity that this Disney franchise has managed to accomplish, even going back to The Force Awakens, which I enjoyed originally, but I now see as just part of the problem as well. I can't enjoy that movie knowing what would come out of it. Even in The Force Awakens, there was just this feeling where I really want to like it, but they're not really doing anything that's actually interesting. And then in The Last Jedi, they had interesting ideas and set pieces, but it was just illogical. And it was structured and paced in a way where it was really hard to care about what was happening. And then in this movie, they just threw in the towel. It didn't really seem like anyone was trying. You look back at the Disney franchise, think about who could have saved it. Colin Trevorrow, or whatever his name was, Jurassic World guy, I think. He was the original person to work on 9. I think I've seen a video on what the leaked script would have been, and it sounded better than this, but who knows how it would have turned out. Focus testing, China, all these other foreign markets, they have a say. The second it went over to Disney, for all intents and purposes, it was probably doomed. They were able to pull the stuff with the Avengers because the comics and superheroes is an inherently different format that I guess the millennial writing style that's infested all these movies now is more apt for. But Star Wars, the tones and prevailing themes of Star Wars, not the same as the Avengers.
Well, the Marvel model has certainly doomed them to misunderstand how films are made, because the way that they did Marvel was they came out with a superhero movie and it stood alone in its own place. They then released more superhero movies, which different teams of people could work on, and they didn't need to collaborate very closely until the Avengers came along. And then when the Avengers came along, they had better writers who were able to coordinate a way to get all of these stories to work intertwined. With Star Wars, you can't be spontaneous like that. The original trilogy was written by George Lucas, and he had a planned outline for 4, 5, and 6. He already had a planned outline for 1, 2, and 3 as well, but he wasn't sure what he needed to get it done, so that's why he waited until 1999 to start up the new trilogy. And by then, he knew how 1, 2, and 3 were going to go. He had a solid plan. And that, for the most part, the worlds that he wanted to bring people were not just things that came out of his mind like that. They were things that he had seen for a long time. And that's why he needed to be confident that he could bring 1, 2, and 3 to the screen. And sure, you can say what you will about the prequels, but there was a plan.
And they showed imagination and ambition at the very least. And at least the worlds and characters created could be adapted to other contexts like video games and provide compelling content. The characters of Rey, Poe, and Finn are unworkable. There's a reason why children didn't buy the toys. And sometimes children are a lot smarter than adults when it comes to circumstances like this because they have intuition and they rely on their intuition. And intuitively, there's nothing about what was done with the storytelling involving these characters to make them compelling in even the slightest bit.
And I'd say it goes far beyond the characters even. There was something to be said about how when you put characters into an environment, you can have an expectation as to how to get them from point A to point B. But with this, it seemed as if at any given time in which they put them into a new environment, there was not an expectation that they needed to somehow get to the final frontier. It felt very disjointed. As I was saying, like, it was about having a plan. George Lucas had a plan. Disney did not. They gave the first movie to J.J. Abrams, and then as soon as that was done, they said, great, now we're gonna hand it off to Rian Johnson. The two of them didn't coordinate. It wasn't like J.J. Abrams sent him a letter and said, hey, this is what we want to do for episode 9, so just make sure that it works to this point. They were just like, here, you have complete creative control, Mr. Johnson. And then after that, they take the slop that's left over, hand it back to J.J. Abrams, and go, all right, creative control.
They passed around the most beloved and cherished entertainment franchise like it was a 2-cent whore. It's almost mind-boggling. They really didn't think this through. They spent $4 billion to buy the fucking thing, and they didn't think of what to do with it. They just said, oh, we'll do whatever, we'll make money.
You know who did think about what to do with it? George Lucas. He had given them an outline for what to do with episodes 7, 8, and 9. If I'm not mistaken, it was part of the deal. It wasn't like written anywhere, but it was suggested that if they were going to buy Star Wars, that they were going to honor his direction that he wanted the series to be taken in. But instead, after they bought Star Wars, they kicked him to the fucking curb. They turned away his ideas. And to think that maybe George Lucas could have redeemed himself if they would have brought George's vision to life, but better than he could have, because they just brought on a better director. It's crazy that they threw it away for this. I'm not saying that necessarily it would have been the greatest thing in the world, but it definitely would have been better than this, and it would have been thought out. There's something else to be said about the schedule messing up the product. The series, up until the point that this was made, had released a movie every 3 years, with the exception between 6 and 1. 1977, episode 4. 1980, episode 5. 1983, episode 6. And then episode 1, 1999, episode 2, 2002, 2005 for episode 3. They had 3 years to work with, but for here it was 2015, 2017, 2019. They wanted to spit out 3 movies in 4 years. It's not workable if you want to create a cohesive narrative.
And it shows.
It's half-baked.
You can just see it in the pacing of the films. It feels like they're rushing. Let's just glaze past that. They're not going to notice. And that line of decision-making feels like it went into like almost every aspect of the film. Let's not create a cohesive thing that's greater than the sum of its parts. Throw a bunch of crap. Character needs to get from here to here. Just give them a thing and they can do it. They don't have to have any character growth or ingenuity or anything that could actually make them likable or heroic. Just give them a thing.
Giving them a thing is the worst way to write because it doesn't make the audience feel as if anything has been accomplished, and it makes you forget details from a movie that you saw in the theater that was supposed to be this memorable thing from your childhood.
Because it's random and inconsequential, and it feels like the characters have done nothing to earn anything. That's the whole series. Rey, Poe, and Finn. 25 years from now, they can show up as 70-year-olds for the next trilogy. I don't even know if there's gonna be another trilogy because Star Wars has completely lost its luster. Primarily due to these Disney movies. It's just another thing now. Star Wars might as well be Johnny Test at this point. They have the same relevance over pop culture now. Yeah, people are still buying Baby Yoda toys, but that's gonna run out real quick. The only reason franchises are liked, it has to be that the underlying product is good, or it's at least meaningful to people in some way. These movies are just the epitome of meaningless slop. You look at all the people who are so hopeful, people like me, people like Brian, so hopeful that we get something decent, at least. And they gave us this. That was your grand finale? Throw a bunch of shit at the screen that doesn't make any sense. Bring back a guy who died meaningfully and served as the climax of the previous trilogy. Just bring him back? That was your great idea? What can I say? It still made money. It still made a profit. But it's definitely probably not what they were expecting. And there's probably going to be another trilogy by now. If they had handled it even decently. Man, am I envious of Harry Potter kids. They all got good movies. All these Marvel and Avengers people, say what you want about the movies now, but they got a satisfying epic payoff to a long-term wait. Even DC has been on hard times, but I mean they had like the Dark Knight trilogy in the last 25 years. What if Star Wars fans had?
Here's the other thing you got to consider about those franchises that makes them even better. If they've got a stinker or two, they can just ignore it. You can ignore it because most of the time it's a one-off with one hero who's probably not going to come back. They'll just retcon that character rather than that franchise. With Star Wars destroying the credibility of the baseline series, it's never going to be Star Wars again. And I think even if in 20 years there's some sort of an attempt at revival, it's not going to have the same cultural effect where people go, whoa, Star Wars! There's 2 of these trilogies now that are abysmal. It's not redeemable. Nobody is going to look and be like, oh, it's fine. It'll be like the original 4 movies that were from 40 fucking years ago. 50 fucking... We're gonna come up on 50 fucking years soon. That's really soon. In 3 years.
Say what you want about Star Wars, but it's never flopped before. They've always at least made their money back. There will be more movies. Until the udders are bone dry, they're gonna be milking that cow. And I think we're about to enter the age of the Star Wars financial flops. You already see it with all the other franchises. Indiana Jones, DC, The Flash, Fast and the Furious, Mission Impossible, Transformers I think was even a disappointment, Pixar, they're not making money anymore in theaters. Star Wars is next. They're gonna make more movies, and not only are they gonna be irrelevant, not only are they gonna be bad, they're not even going to make money anymore.
Well, you know, they came awfully close to that. I was pretty sure that Solo: A Star Wars Story was a flop, and technically it was. The budget was about $300 million, and in the box office, worldwide, it made $393 million.
I really don't know what else to say at this point, but I came into today possibly wanting to see if maybe I was too harsh, if maybe I was being too emotional. Maybe The Rise of Skywalker wasn't as bad as I thought. Oh no. Oh, it is every bit as bad, and seeing it now with more lucidity, it truly lets me see the scope of the disaster this was, and at no point was any part of the film more redeemable for me. All I had to do was beat being the worst thing I've ever seen in theaters, and it couldn't do that, and it's still the worst thing I've ever seen, movie-wise. Brian, you watched it for the first time. Does this put like the death nail in Star Wars for you like it did for me?
This has come pretty damn close to that. There's one saving grace. La 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 la. No.
I think you had to have the theatrical experience. That's what sent me over the edge. That moment is burned into my head of being in the theater and seeing Rey kiss Kylo and everyone audibly groan. That was where my desire to be a Star Wars fan completely shattered. It's embarrassing that that moment solidified it publicly. A public humiliation. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have no idea how long the final product will be. We've been here for like 4 hours.
It'll probably be cut down
Hopefully
to, I'd say, about an hour.
Yeah, hopefully for all you Star Wars fans out there, you've enjoyed a great trip down memory lane. Maybe if you liked this film review series, we can do more episodes, but I don't think anything will be as good as this. I don't feel as strongly about almost anything in cinema as I do about this. This has been another episode of Half in the Spiral, a Green Letter Media production. May the Force be with you. I got jokes! You want a joke? We just watched one. We just spent 2.5 hours watching one. Star Wars, Disney franchise, a big joke!
I've got one final joke. I've decided I'm still a Star Wars fan because I've just decided this is not Star Wars. Anything that Disney put their hands on, I don't have to care about it. If you really appreciate something, then should you let other people ruin it for you? In my case, I'm not going to let Disney ruin it for me. I'm going to continue to care about the things that I care about. I'm going to continue to see what has merits and hold on to that and who am I kidding? I'm coping. I'm going to kill myself later because of this.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm Andrew Kramer. Be sure to check out the website, videocopilot.net, and we will see you next time.